Hello again. As I promised you yesterday, I'm going to be talking about bullying again. I gave you one of my experiences with bullying, and I'm sure everybody has individual incidences. This is not, that was not something that caused my or even created my PTSD, at least as far as I know it didn't. But after I had been writing about PTSD and my military experiences in my blog, and then later on in my book, someone called me and said, or wrote to me and said that that PTSD, she got hers by bullying. And of course, I didn't know that much about it in terms of how that occurred. But in any event, she sent me a letter, and she's apparently, it affected her enough where she wanted to write a letter or a book about it. Anyway, her name is Nancy Kilgore. And she wrote a book called Girl in the Water. She didn't ask me to give you this plug, but certainly if you have a bullying background, it might be a book you want to read because she talks about her experience. And apparently, she said siblings commit 10% of the murders that occur in an American family. And a lot of this has to do with bullying or bullying gone wrong. And she told me in her letter about how her particular sibling was constantly bullying her because she was the younger sibling and she had to endure it, and how it affected her life. Even to this day, she and her sibling do not have a good relationship. And even though both have grown up, there's still that resentment and things that have happened to her that she kept with her. So that might be a book that if you've got the bullying as an issue, you might want to look up. But I mentioned yesterday, I'd forgotten all about that in terms of, I'm sorry, but I had forgotten all about that when I was talking to you yesterday. And then when I did my research, looked back and found out what had come to me when I started talking about this, and these letters and this article that I found. The other one, his name is Alan Kurzweil, who writes for the New Yorker magazine. New Yorker magazine is obviously something everybody has read or at least knows of. And if you choose to go back and read it, I read it a long time ago, and I couldn't give you probably 10 words about it. But it affected me enough that I wanted to say it to you because it sounded as if this was something that was a major issue with him. The article that he wrote for the magazine was called "Whipping Boy: The 40-Year Search for the 12-Year-Old Bully." So 40 years, and obviously even to this day, I'm assuming even though he's written this article, he's still bothered by it. And what he basically did was he had a boy named Caesar that every day would bully him and do something that would cause fear in him and cause him mental torture. And he went back 40 years later as part of this research for this article to find out what had happened to Caesar and what kind of a person did he turn out to be. And from what I can recollect, I didn't write all about this in the article just to mention it would be worth reading, but I recollect that he said he turned out to be just a normal kid. It was not something that he turned out to be a bully in life, but just that this person was going through a stage where the bullying was part of it, and he is the one that took this and had it in his heart and couldn't get rid of it and still has nightmares about it and every day had to face it. And these are the ways that PTSD comes. It's grinding, it's insidious, it's creeps in you and you don't even know that it's happening, and then later on you realize you've got something that you don't even know how you've gotten it. But the way it worked is went to see this boy, talked to him, found out a little bit about it, and then wrote about the results of this. So I guess, and I'm going to just be guessing because I don't know this Mr. Carswell at all, but I'm guessing that this was some kind of a relief to write about it, to get it out in the open and to say, geez, I've been worrying about this and thinking about this and dreaming about this for these many years, and I'm going to do something about it. And so he did go about it and found out that this was, this was something that he could start to remedy. And I'm recommending the same thing to you, is that you keep a diary, start writing things down. Don't wait 40 years to go back and start to decide that you should do something about this. This can happen starting today. You can make your first step. I ask you to put a little pad in your pocket, something you can just reach in whenever it appears that you have something to talk about. Could be anything. People always say, God, your columns are really so long. I could never write that kind of column. And I will tell you, honest to God, very few of these I even rewrite. It just is, I start writing, and before you know it, I've written a whole thing. I, a lot of time, don't even go back and read them. And I'm sure you've probably seen by some of my spelling errors that I, obviously don't care about the spelling. It's the thought that counts. And I don't care. It's not for that. It was not to write a book. It's not to put them down for everybody. It's for me. It's just for me, for my own satisfaction, for my own peace of mind. When something comes along that I think I have to say, I'm going to say it. And you can too. And mine are going to be different than yours. And that's the reason I say, if you can come and contribute to this living document, which is this blog that we have, you're creating something that the next guy can see, and the next guy after that. And before you know it, we've got something that's so vibrant and so alive, and will cover every aspect. I don't have an aspect about bullying. I don't. That's just nothing to me. But that could be something to that woman, or that's something to Carswell. That's something that only they can talk about, and talk about with any kind of sense of this is reality. I didn't write about bullying with a great passion, because I don't have that passion that created my PTSD. And maybe had I had it from bullying, these columns would be a hell of a lot more. And I only have a little tiny section of it. So whatever you have a passion for, what it is that you saw, is it your occupation? What kind of things bother you about it? And maybe you don't want to go into the details. Oh my God, hey, I don't want to do that either. There's some things I'm willing to write about because they just seem like, even though they affected me, I don't think they were the main cause of that problem. I write about them, but I'm hoping more that writing about it will give you the permission to do so too. I don't want to hear about anything gruesome or gory, or this is all for you. This is really all for you. It's not for me. It's not for my readers. If they get something out of it, then you're the one that's going to feel the glory, not me. I don't want to feel anything about this. This is mostly for me. I just do it for me. If you want to come along, if you want to get involved, you'll find a way to do it. And the easiest way is to just take the first step. You won't write large columns. You maybe only write a couple of sentences. Maybe it's a word. Maybe it's a smell that you remember and you hate. Something. Just start to write things down and do it for yourself. Don't do it for me. Don't do it for others, but do it for yourself. But you'll become part of the number 23, because other people will get permission. Other people will be allowed to do the same. They'll feel, geez, if this person can do it, so can I. And that was the basic premise that I started this whole thing under. If I can do it, someone else might be able to get something from it too. So I'm going to give them permission. But it basically is to get it out of my pocket. I'm going to get that sand out of my pocket. I want to make my pants lighter. I don't want them dragging me down. If I fall into that water, I don't want to be sunk because of the sand in my pockets. So little by little, I'm going to unload that sand until one day I'm going to have so little that it really matters little for me anyway. I am not bogged down by PTSD. I refuse to have this as the reason that my life was a failure. I want it to be a success. I've always wanted to be a success, and I wanted to get rid of this damn thing. And I hope that you are starting to feel that and want that same thing. It's easy to complain about it. I want to complain about it. It's easy. Oh, well, I didn't write something today because I didn't feel right. I have PTSD, I'm not trying to make light of yours. I just said I don't want mine. And if you don't want yours, I'm giving you one way out. And it's up to you to take it. The door's there for you. It's open. All you have to do is walk through. Get the pad, get the paper, put it in your pocket, start whenever it happens, and it could be in the middle of the night, you stand up and reach over and grab your pad. Could be this very moment. You're thinking, geez, he's telling me about that thing. Let me write the first thing down. And make it regular. Make it part, like the brushing of the teeth. Make it just part of your day. It's not imposition that way. I look back at all the things that I've written, and I've written a ton of things. I'm actually shocked by it. Because I'm not a writer. I didn't become a writer in my life. It wasn't my purpose in life to say, I'm going to write the American novel. No, I didn't do it for that purpose. It was just to try to help you. Anything that I can do to help you, I'm going to try to do, because I want to have that number 23. And hopefully you'll get it too. Number 23, keep it in mind, become part of it. All right, nice talking to you. I don't know what I'll talk about tomorrow, but whenever it is, I'm sure it'll be about PTSD anyway. All right, thanks. Nice seeing you. And don't forget to tell me you like it, you don't like it, share it. Do whatever you can. We want to have this thing spread. We're looking for 7.7 million. And just be sure to keep telling us what you like about it, what you don't like about it, how I can change it to make it better and more appealing. All right, I love you all, and I'm going to do everything I can to drag you along with me if I can. All right, talk to you soon.